Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 26 of the Rock for Him podcast. I'm Jeremy, your host, and with me are my good friends and co host Jason Bukowski and Scott Mullins. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Good.
Real good.
Gotta tell you, I'm excited about tonight. We've
Oh
got
yeah.
our,
Uh-oh.
our special guest is Jared Bayless from the band Bayless. How's it going, man?
Good. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, thank you for being part of this.
For
So,
sure.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and the band and what you do and
Sure. So my wife and I started this band a long time ago, like 12 years ago. So yeah, we were actually, or I was actually known as, before we were married, as the Jared Bayless Band. And then we did a Battle of the Bands for Air One in Kansas City. And then we actually co-won that. And then we played at Arrowhead Stadium, which was kind of cool. But then one of the judges said, "Hey, you should just be Bayless and not Jared Bayless." And I was like, "That sounds like my dad. Like I think of my dad when I do that." And my dad is not rock and roll. So, but we're like, "Sure, I guess she has my last name now." So we dropped it to just Bayless, and then we've just been doing that um, with friends, I suppose, over the years, and went to Nashville in like 2013 and did a EP with John Steingard, formerly of Hawk Nelson. That's a whole other topic. But anyway, so then anyway, and then God kind of like really put everything on hold when I began doing ministry here at Element Church, and I was worship pastor, and then like we did my declaration, or I did my declaration because it was my pastor's book that was coming out. He's like, "Hey, will you write a song for my book?" And I said, "Sure." And I just had a kid, and I did it really quickly. And he was like, let's do it as like pre-sales, and we'll just give it away for free." It's like, "Sure." So we did that, and then I sent it over to Justin Forshaw from As We Ascend and We As Human, and was like, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but you want to mix this for me?" And then he said, "Sure." And then it went into radio, and then it hit number 5, and was like, "I better write some more music." So we then put out the EP after that, and had some friends on our worship team join our band, and so that brings us up to now. I thought that was a long explanation, but that's the backstory of us.
That's awesome.
nice, awesome. You got anything?
Yeah. Where are you guys based out of, and maybe introduce the rest of the band, so everybody knows maybe what your role in the band and your wife's role would be.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I'm Jared, obviously, but I'm based out of we're all based out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, where everybody assumes is not a state. And so, in fact, it is a state, and we have roads. And so, yeah, we're based out of here, and we're all in Cheyenne. And then my wife, or I do guitar and piano and producing and all that stuff. And then my wife is the other lead vocalist. Her name is Vanessa. And then we have Haley Laban, who is our bass player, and then Zach Lopez Smith, who is our drummer.
Very nice.
Nice.
So, one thing that we like to do here on the show for anyone that we have on is we like to ask your testimony. How did you
Sure.
come to know Christ?
Okay, my story. This is my testimony is one of I used to think was boring, and I used to not like to tell my testimony because I wasn't an alcoholic or something. And so that's the cool testimony, or I was on meth and now I'm not. But I don't have that story. I grew up in the church. I was raised in the church. However, I was burned by the church. So and in ministry nonetheless. So for me, I've always been a Christian. I was kind of a brat. I was kind of a little punk growing up. I never did anything wrong per se. I just wasn't really taking things seriously. And part of my testimony is when I was in high school, or middle school and high school, we had a real small youth group, and we never could. It was we're really close, about 6 of us, but it never grew. And we're always like, "Well, that's weird. We're awesome." And then what I realized is that it was not growing because of us. And so we used to tease people. I used to tease people a lot, and I didn't know the difference between making fun of somebody and teasing somebody. So I lived in a lot of regret as I got older, and have a lot of regret in my testimony of I used to, instead of drawing people to Jesus, I pushed them away. And so I like forever regretted that, and still is a part of my testimony. So when I got older and I went to Bible college, I was trying really hard to prove myself that look how much I've grown up, look how much I'm trying. But those people froze me in my past, and we often do that. We freeze people in the worst that we remember them, and we never let them out because why would you ever grow? And and you're just that same way, and you'll always be remembered as that punk kid who whatever. And you can try all you want. And I eventually was trying so hard to seek their approval. To one day I had to just let that go and then just be like, you know what? He changed me, and that's on you if you don't want to believe it. I'm moving on. So my testimony is one of all the things that have happened to me in my life, and in both in ministry and both in professionally, I guess, and all the blessings that I have been given is because my testimony is of God's faithfulness, and that I have just done what He has asked me to do. And I have not always done it perfectly, but I have tried to improve, and I've tried to be better, and I've worked hard, and God has given me a lot of blessings and talents and all kinds of stuff. But I realize that mine is, if you do what God says and you are and His promises, He will fulfill them. And that's sometimes not always seen as exciting. And I don't know why we don't celebrate that. And so, not saying that you need to celebrate me, but I'm just saying that that my testimony is one that people who are the alcoholics, or the people, we have a lot of people in our church who are former alcoholics and meth addicts and all kinds of stuff, and their testimony is always one that's really powerful, but it's always they wish they had my testimony. They're trying to now fulfill what God has shown to me. I've grown up, and God's been faithful to me, and I've seen God, because I was faithful to Him. And because of that, that's what they're all seeking, is that stability that I've had for my whole life. And now they're trying to gain that. And so we look at it as like, you just grew up in the church, and like, but now those people are like, how do I get to be that long-term stability? And like, storms come after you and they don't bother you. And I get set back, 10 times because I'm just starting out. But we don't look at that as like something to be valued. So that is my testimony. And I realize that you should say, hey, God has fulfilled His promises that He'd said in my life. And that's my testimony. If you do what He says, this is what it is. And I'm thankful for it. So that's my testimony.
Well, I just got to tell you, never ever think that your testimony is any more exciting or any less exciting than anybody else's. It is
sure.
your specific testimony. And I mean, honestly, each one that we have heard has been beautiful. I mean, we've heard everything from the people that were on drugs, alcohol, to just like you. I grew up as a Christian, and my testimony is boring. Well, they're not. They're fantastic, and we love hearing them. So thank you.
Yeah.
So, who are you guys influenced by, both lyrically and musically?
Ooh, I mean, I can speak for some of them. For me personally, musically, so I started playing music when I was 19. I didn't sing, I didn't do anything. And so I had like, I can't remember the gaming system I had. I was kind of a gamer. And then suddenly I just like, I want to play guitar. So I wanted to play Metallica. So I was influenced by Metallica, and I sold my gaming system, bought a guitar at a pawn shop, and then asked a friend to come over and teach me the first 30 seconds of like 4 Metallica songs. And because that's about all I could play, and not even well. And so I was real influenced by Metallica. Got into ministry because of Metallica, as I tell people. And so then as I grew, lyrically, I was influenced a lot by Demon Hunter. I really liked just the poetic nature of that in Project 86. Just Andrew Schwab's poetic way of putting things, I really, really enjoyed. And I also like their music as far as guitar work. And I was real influenced by Red for a little bit. I was influenced by Jeremy Camp, and people will say I sound like him, but that wasn't. I was inspired by him as far as a leader in the public eye as a Christian. I almost gave up on music and had decided I was going to give up on music that night, and went to a Jeremy Camp acoustic concert. And then he said, he basically was everything he was doing. I looked at it and I was like, I can do all those things. And he's talking about God being like, this is my desire to be used by you. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I giving up? I can do all that stuff he's doing, maybe not to what he's doing the way he's doing it, but why am I giving up? And so he's been someday I'd like to shake his hand and thank him for that. But he's been an influence in that, in terms of that. And even how to handle my voice in singing, because we kind of sound similar. But so yeah, so that's some of mine. I know Vanessa was influenced by Evanescence. She kind of sounds like Evanescence, even though she doesn't like being told she sounds like Amy Lee. But but she definitely has some influence from them. And she grew up in country music, not because she wanted to, because she had to, because she lived in Amish country, Ohio. So she had to go sing all that stuff. And then she heard rock music and was like, okay, I want to sing that. And so she really started honing in her voice on that. I know Zach is really influenced by Avenged Sevenfold. Haley has some Paramore influences, and I can't answer for all of them, but those are some of the ones we've answered before of our influences.
Awesome.
You know, I love that almost every band that you brought up is not like a Christian band. They're secular bands, but they influenced you, and God used that music to bring you to where you are. I mean, that to me is just, that's a testimony right there. That's awesome.
It really is. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy you didn't give it up, because I really dig your stuff personally.
Thank you.
It is.
I
It's
forgot
awesome.
to mention when I first talked, it's an honor. I remember turning on ChristianRock.net back in 2018, 2019, maybe, and hearing my declaration. And I thought, man, that's what I want to do. I want this to be my declaration. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Back then I sent you a couple messages, and same
Yeah.
thing like you to Jeremy Camp. It's finally nice to meet you and
Oh, thank you.
say that God used you into my life as well. So
Oh, I
keep
appreciate
that
it.
up.
Thank you.
I'm also amazed, being a Facebook friend. I'm amazed at how talented you are. I see stuff you're doing, video production, and those paintings, and some of your pictures you throw on, just amazing. Maybe you could tell us some of your other interests and stuff you're involved in.
I'm involved in too much.
Multi-talented.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. I will preface this by, I get real busy with stuff, but it's not because I like need to do stuff. I just I'm a big proponent, like in like talking about the parable of like the tenant of the talents. Like I never want to bury mine in the sand, and I never want to be called a wicked, lazy servant. So I have like a desire to do stuff. I just do it because I'm like sinning if I'm not. And so I'm not because I'm trying to fill some void I don't have. So I do music production, obviously, and singing and playing. And I've been doing that for a while. And then I do video production and shooting that and editing, and have some other bands who have actually reached out recently, and some companies who want us to do some of that, and had an opportunity to go to Nashville to shoot a country music video, which I turned down, but it was a good opportunity. It's kind of crazy how like all this stuff's coming up. So then I don't know what to do with that. But yeah, I have a photography business on the side, and sell canvases and wood prints and metal prints. And so that was also weird. And it came out of nowhere, just as something I love to do. And then another thing that was also really, really weird, in a good way. I'm part of this, I guess you call it a committee. I got this idea about 4 years ago to just do this wind project idea, and it's kinetic art. And I pitched it to a few friends, and they said, let's go talk to like the University of Wyoming and all these people. We went talk to engineers, and I pitched my idea, and long story short, somebody picked it up, and 4 years later, we're having a ribbon cutting for it. And we got a grant, $100,000 grant from our city, from the government. And it's actually the stage phase 1, and it's essentially it's like moving like when the wind, and it makes sound, or it moves and you interact with it. And then my dream is to have it in a plaza, and so that's kind of the long-term goal. So I'm like on this, they all just decided to do my ideas, and there's 5 things going up around the city, structures, and and they just have called me in for meetings, and they just do my idea. It's really weird. So that was really cool. And so that I've got that going on, and that came out of nowhere. So yeah, I guess I'm an entrepreneur, so I love doing stuff. I love doing anything creative. I love cooking. I'll do cooking when I'm frustrated with music. I'll do video when I'm frustrated with, I don't know. I just move to the next thing, and I just love creating. So there's a lot of things I do. I love speaking. I love preaching. I love writing. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff I like doing.
Very cool. Are you the lead pastor then at Element, or what's your role
No,
there?
I'm the worship pastor. We
Okay.
just got our new lead pastor literally today. So that's kind of funny. But I've just been helping lead and preach and organize and do all kinds of stuff. But I've been here for about 10 years. So yeah.
Nice. So you've been getting quite a bit of rotation on Rock for Him.
Thank you.
What can we look forward to in the future? Do you guys have anything coming up? Do you have any tours coming up? Anything like that?
Yeah. So well, as far as more radio play, yeah, we have some other songs. But here's the crazy part. So like so we are actually distributed by, or the Searchlights is distributed by Sony. And so that kind of came out of nowhere. So so that got us on the mainstream radio, which is cool. And we're number 28 on the metal charts on the mainstream. So I'm getting ready to do interviews with all these stations, which I'm not sure what they're going to talk to me about, but that's fine. That's part of my ministry is this literally Searchlights. So so we're working so hard at that that I'm like, when do I even have time to write new stuff? Because you want me to do all these social media posts and videos and like so anyway, we are working on new stuff. There is something new. It won't be that we're going to release. That's only the second place that I would have announced this, but we are going to put out it's called Bayless Unspoken, and it is all piano and strings of some of our top hits.
Huh?
And so it's just something different we're going to try, and just we'll put it out just on YouTube first and see how it does before we spend money on distributing it somewhere. But it will just be a one big video essentially with all the music back to back to back. So if you want to just sit in the background, listen in your job, if you're like, I can't put your guys' normal stuff on because it's too aggressive, I'll put this on or whatever it may be. So some people just love working to that type of music. So we thought, well, it gives us another option. And I heard already had a lot of that stuff done to begin with. So I just kind of went in and fine tuned it and added some more strings to stuff. And so we're working on that. That should be out soon, very soon, actually. So,
That is
oh,
awesome.
and sorry,
I
touring.
love that.
Sorry, you said touring. So part of the issue for us is like we want to tour, but when you're both in the band, when your wife and you are in the band, and you have a kid, it gets really difficult. And you're like, I would love to. We've had to turn down Germany twice because we're like, what are we going to do with our son? Like who's going to watch him and take him to school, and he's a toddler, and like who's going to say yes to that? So we've had to say no to a lot of opportunities. So we've been doing one-offs because we have to either take him on the road with us for a short amount of time or leave him away for a short amount of time. And it's just not, we want to be good parents, and I want to be the best dad that I can be to him right now. So, so we're just letting God kind of guide and dictate those one-offs and writing new music and putting out content where we can and just encouraging people, unfortunately from afar, and then just concerts where we can.
That's awesome. Well, Scott volunteers to babysit anytime you need. Anytime you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if you want that.
I was gonna say, bring them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice. But yeah, there's a lot of things to factor in. So
You could run
Well,
around my
I
little
just
one.
got to tell you, I'm pretty excited for you to release that instrumental. I don't know if you've heard, but Kirk Hammett from Metallica released an instrumental EP,
I did
and
not know that.
it's called Portals, and it is fantastic.
Hmm. I'll have to check that out.
And I listened to it at work, so to hear your
Perfect.
guys,
There you go.
Can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah. So we haven't officially announced that anywhere. We're gonna kind of just basically like surprise, here it is, and then see how it does, and then if it does well, then maybe we'll distribute it out individually. But yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome.
So, what is your favorite song you've written, both lyrically and musically, and why?
Hmm. Man, that's a good question. Lyrically, I probably The Raven, which nobody knows, which is fine. It is an older song, and there's a reason why we don't really push that, because production value and stuff wasn't as good, but it is still one of the most poetic songs that I've ever written. So basically, Satan is kind of represents the raven. It's like the reverse of Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven. So I've just always really enjoyed that, of talking about nevermore will your lies destroy my heart. So anyway, I really enjoy that. That's been a really creative thing for me. I always resonate with, like, I don't know where I was in that time to write that, but I always think back and go, good job. I don't know how I did that. And then as far as musically, man, that's a good question. What song do I really enjoy playing? I really do enjoy Ready Aim. I did really enjoy that. Mostly because I was just the day I wrote it was I had just gotten out of knee surgery, and I was in my basement. I couldn't even move, and I was probably up on some sort of drugs, and that's what came out. So sitting there one-legged and writing songs about going after the monster. Seems fitting, but it was fun. It was just kind of this heavy song that I enjoy playing. I don't know, that's one I really do enjoy. I like stuff with really fast riffs and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say that's probably one of my I guess that's probably my answer for you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Is that something we can find out there, Raven?
It
out
is. It
there for
is.
record?
It
Okay.
is out there. Yep, it's out there. I mean, it's not terrible or anything. I mixed it myself a long time ago. I was learning how to do that myself, and it did fine. I think that song has actually it will actually be on this instrumental EP as well, or I don't know if you call what we're calling this, but because it's got this. I'll never forget, like, people have come out of nowhere about that song and just had said how much it's meant to them. And it's just kind of strange to me, because I just didn't expect it. A guy was nearly in tears as I left our last church to move here and said, thank you. I don't think I'd be alive if it wasn't for that song. And I thought, what in the world are you talking about? Like, okay. So it's just interesting. It's an interesting song that I'd like to redo someday, and maybe put it back out there. But I don't know. We're always so busy trying to do new music, you don't go backwards. But so yeah, no, it's out there. But I really do enjoy it.
Nice. We'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
But then I was also going to say, have you ever thought about doing something with your testimony with the promises, writing a song about that? I think what you're saying could have probably been interpreted into a song, because you're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sit back, or I know I sit back and think I'm the only one going through something, or I'm the only one thinking something. And then the next thing I know, talking to another brother in Christ or something, and the exact same thing. And it's like, wow, you're struggling too. Let's, what are you doing to work on it? So just a thought.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah, maybe. I did write, I write a lot of music. I did, was it 3 albums for our church, wrote 3 worship albums. And so one of them is called Standing on Your Promises. And that's actually kind of an anthem for our church. So we do those songs in our church. And so one of them is called Standing on Your Promises. And it was after, but it would apply a little bit, but it also we had like, was it 4 people in a week in our church die suddenly. And it was a real heavy time, a couple kids. And anyway, so we were just like, how do we move forward? And it was, well, we're standing on your promises and take us where your presence is. So I'd say, yeah, I could probably write a song out of that. I could write a song out of a lot of my life, I imagine. But yeah, that's a good idea. I like it.
Awesome.
So I know you said it's kind of hard for you guys to get out on tour because you and your wife and your kid. But if someone were to show up to your house, say, all right, drop the kid off at Scott's house, you're coming on tour with us, who would you not be able to say no to?
Oh, man. I mean, like Skillet, of course. I think everybody would say Skillet. I mean, we would look up to them so much. They're another influence that I should have mentioned, but because it's definitely a husband and wife combo, that we've always looked up to them. And so actually, ironically, so we were real close. I've not actually said this publicly. We were close. We got to ask John Cooper to be on a song with us, but he had had to decline. So we were able to get to him, but that was an event in itself. We were actually just like, hey, he's cool. We actually got to him. That's cool. That was going to be like our dream of like, oh my gosh, like John and Corey. But yeah, they would, if they said come on tour with us, I think we'd be like, we'll just figure it out. We'll just have to come. He'll come with us, and we'll pay somebody to come with us to be on tour with us, and some sort of nanny. They would be one. We would want to be just like, man, we're ministry minded. I don't mean that in a stereotypical like churchy sense. Like we're fine with like non-Christian bands, but if we're gonna bring our son somewhere, there's got to be some intention to it, some purpose. So like we would have to know that we're not, I don't know, risking some of his growth, and like some people see it for what we are doing. So I think Skillet it might be the one right now that would make like, you can't pass this up. There might be some other ones, but they would be the ones that we would just, it would be really, really cool. So
Awesome. So, of all the places you guys have played, do you have a favorite like venue or
that's a good question.
or even like a dream venue where you would want to play?
Well, I mean, playing at Arrowhead Stadium was cool. And that was cool. It was a faith and family night. They were really, really nice to us, and I'm a Denver Broncos fan, so that was really difficult for me. And they fed us and were really nice. So that would hurt. But that was fun. That was probably our favorite venue, I suppose. It's not your typical venue, we like the little small venues that are like real intimate, that people are really into it, and we have some really cool stories that have come out of that. So I don't know if we have like a dream venue. I think we'd have a dream crowd in the venue that would be the best. I'm thinking of this one small little coffee shop venue. It was a pretty cool little venue in Chinook, Kansas. It was tiny. It's a tiny little place, and there's nothing to do but go to concerts. So we went and did a show there. And we were packing up, and it went real well. We played for about an hour, and this kid was standing there. He wasn't a kid, he was 19. He's standing there, and he just starts talking to me as I'm packing up my gear. And he said, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't believe in God. I moved here 2 years ago from California. My mom died. I'm here by myself. I don't even know why I'm here. And he's stammering. And I said, hang on, let me get off the stage first. So I got off the stage, and he just told me everything. Like, I don't know why I'm here. And he's just listening to me for like, I was a pastor to him. That was the church, like singing for some reason was better than a pastor. So he spilled his guts to me, and I said, I'm sorry, it's really late and we have to get on the road. Can I pray for you? And he said, nobody's ever prayed for me in my life. And I thought, what a shame that is, that you have made it 19 years and nobody has prayed for you. So I got the privilege to be able to pray for him as the first person in his life. And then we connected on Facebook, I think, after that and stuff like that, and still to this day. And so those are like our dream scenarios. Honestly, that's our dream concert of like, we do this for the music, and it's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's afterwards is what we really like care about. Like our dream scenario would be to bring some friends to a show and then have them afterwards ready to just counsel and talk with people. Like that would be our dream of like, let us use the music if that gives us credibility into your life. But after that, like, tell me what's going on. Like, that's why Searchlights is what it is, of like, tell me your name before I tell you, before you tell me if you think I'm awesome, or if I, like, I'm glad you like what I did, but like, what's your name? And are you drowning? So anyway, that's probably what I would say. So it doesn't necessarily matter the venue. There's, of course, you're going to be like, oh man, thousands of people. That would be so fun. But ultimately, thousands of people who go, that was cool, to 40, 50 people who were like, man, my life changed that day. Like that's more important.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. That's so great to hear. And I think it's similar to us on our ministry. We caught wind that a person got to the Lord through our ministry, and it's been so exciting. That was kind of a fire that just has kept us going and want to keep pushing this like we are to all the glory of God. So I love hearing that. And Unfortunately, we're kind of getting close to closing out here, but we always like to pray for each band. Is there anything specifically we can pray for Bayless for? Maybe a couple prayer
Um,
requests.
I'd say just discernment is a good thing. We have a lot coming at us in a good way, but and there's a lot of opportunities and there's cool stuff like I was saying, mentioned having to do those mainstream interviews, and I'm looking forward to it. I really do enjoy talking with people who aren't believers, and this is going to sound weird. I enjoy talking to angry people. I know that sounds weird, but so I have a family counseling degree, and here I am doing music. So I enjoy asking the extra question as to what's bringing about the anger, and I like caring for people when they want to be cared about, but not when they're angry, and that diffuses them. So not saying all these guys are going to be angry, but I'm going to say they're going to come at me with some questions of, tell me I found out you're a Christian band. Like, what does that mean? And I kind of enjoy this. I kind of enjoy it. So, but I do need discernment and I do need grace and love. And so as a band, I think just what is next moving forward with that, and saying yes to the right things, and the writing, that would be also really helpful. Just of what is it that we need to say next, because we're very intentional what we write about. So we don't want to just be putting out stuff just because it should be meaningful, and there should be a lot of meaning behind it. So
Awesome. Well,
Absolutely.
before we pray, where can people find your music?
yep, you can go anywhere. I mean, it's Spotify, all that stuff. You can go Apple, anywhere. And then baylessband.com is our website. Instagram, yeah, we're everywhere. So just like everybody else is. So
Awesome. Well, seeing as how Scott mentioned it, I think I will have him pray us out.
Absolutely. Awesome Father in heaven, thank you for another night to together with community and discuss you and music. And thank you for our brother Jared to come on and spend some time with us. We just want to lift him up to you, Father, and the band. And as they proceed forward, just be in their lives, have your will be done in their lives, give them discernment, and put words into their thoughts to write and what direction they should go to. And these opportunities that are coming up in mainstream, just give Jarrett the wisdom and the words to say to put you first and bring and lead others to you. We love you. We thank you for both ministries. Thank you for the blessings that you're sending us. I ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
thank you.
Well, Jared, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh,
This has
thank you.
truly been a pleasure for
sure.
all of us having you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Scott, brother, it's great having you on. Jeremy, you're awesome, dude. Love having you on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jared, remember, if you're going to rock for him. All right.
If you like what you saw today, hit the subscribe and like button down below, and don't forget to share it to all your friends. Also, leave us a comment down below. If you're gonna rock for him.